Hakadosh, Boker Or, Masechet Bava Kamma Daf Amud Aleph 381. Says the Gemara, we are going to come and we're going to try to analyze a beraita. The Gemara says Amar More says Veshilach. When it says Veshilach, it means Zoar Regel. That is Regel. Remember that we said that there was Shor in the Mishnah. And when we spoke about Shor in the Mishnah, we said there were three aspects of the Shor. The Keren, which we already spoke about, Shen, which we spoke about, and now Regel. So basically the horns, the teeth, and then the feet. So says the Gemara, Amar Mor v'shilach zu regel. And that's what it says also. Mishalchei regel ashor v'achamor. Once it says mishalchei regel ashor v'achamor, so when it uses the terminology v'shilach mishalchei, it's regel. Ta'ama dekatav rachmana. The only reason why I'm going to say that is because it said in the Torah, the other pasuk, where it says mishalchei regel ashor v'achamor. Halav hachi. But if it wasn't for that, what would I say? What is shilach? So he says, keren, right? If it's going to be keren, it's already written. And if it's shen, it's also already written. Meaning like this. Yesterday we came and we tried to find out where is it written the three different things in the Torah. So we said keren was written, whether it's going to be in the pasuk of, which is in Melachim, where it says, karne barzel, and then from Devarim, bechol shoro adalo, karne ren karnav, which is basically v'zot bracha. Okay, that's keren. Then we went and we said, okay, fine, that was keren. What about shen? So we went and we said that shen is also going to be written. Okay, now when shen was going to be written, when it says v'shilach, if v'shilach means now regel, and we brought a pasuk from Yeshaya, meshalcher regel ashor v'achamor, and bi'er was shen, because by shen it says kasher yevaer hagala latumo. So one more time, you have three different characteristics of the shor, and each one is brought down in the Torah. Keren, karneh from Melachim and from Devarim. You have regel, v'shilach v'iro, which is parashat mishpatim in Shemot, right? V'shilach, and then it says in Yeshaya, mishalcher regel ashor v'achamor. So when it says shilach, it means regel, mishalcher regel ashor v'achamor, right? And then the last one, which is shen, is also from Melachim, where it says kasher yevaer hagala latumo. So the Gemara now says, one second, when I come and I say v'shilach, it means regel, right? Why? Because of the pasuk, v'shalcher regel ashor v'achamor. He says, but one second, but even if I didn't have the pasuk, what would have been talking about? If you're going to tell me it's something about keren, I already know keren. Keren is written mefurash in the Torah about keren. If it's written about shen, shen is also written mefurash in Melachim. Kasher yevaer hagala latumo. So therefore, what would it have been? So says the Gemara, itzrich. The pasuk was necessary. Why? Sal kadaita achamina. I would have thought to say, idi v'idi Hashem. I would have thought to say that the pasuk of v'shilach b'iro v'yer b'steacher is also shen. Okay, and the other pasuk kasher yevaer hagala latumo was also shen. He says had mechal yakarna v'had lo mechal yakarna. One of them, when it says, was remember we had v'shilach and then we had ubier. How does it translate ubier in English, by the way? Ubier b'steacher. How does it translate it? It's the last line on Bet Amubet, where it says kasher yevaer hagala latumo. How does that? You're revealing it, just like the teeth, that sometimes it's revealed and sometimes it's not revealed.
And it consumed.
To consume, thank you. Right, like biur chametz, or biur kasher yevaer biarti hakodesh min habayit. I'm getting rid of it from the house, so to consume. Thank you. That was a good word. So he says now like this. So if you have the word v'shilach, which means he sent forth, and you have the word ubier, which means to consume, I come and say v'shilach is the foot, right? You're sending your foot. Yeah, you're sending. You're going, right? Shlichut, right? You're sending something. You're going somewhere, right? And the right, like a shaliach, right? You're going what? And ubier is right, like soccer. Yeah, he says. And what is ubier? Bier is coming what? That you're destroying something, that you eat it. Once you eat, you destroy. That's it. Right? You devoured it, as they say. So now what happens is like this. We right now, we come and we said, if it was written, only because it's written that way. But if it wasn't written that way, so what would you have said? If you're going to tell me it's keren, we already know keren. If it's shen, we already know shen. Says the Gemara, I need the pasuk. You know why I need the pasuk? I would have thought to divide the shen in two different parts. If when it says the lashon uvier, it means the mechal yakarna. He completely destroyed everything. Meaning, he used this shen, but he completely was mechaleh. Mechaleh is, right, to destroy, to finish it off, right? The mechalia, the kilayom, right? Completely destroy everything. But when it says v'shilach, it means the lo mechalia kana. He didn't completely finish it off, meaning that it could still grow back and it could still continue going up. And that's what, so Kamashman comes to teach you the pasuk v'shilach, that we're only talking about what? We're only talking about regel and not shen. Until here we're clear. Yeah? So says the Gemara, v'hashtadu kimna regel. Now that you just told me that the word v'shilach biro means regel because of mishalchei regel v'ashor v'chamor. So shen de lo mechal yakarna minalam. So how do I know that if an ox comes and he starts eating, but he doesn't finish off the job? Meaning that he doesn't eat everything to destroy it. Let's say he just eat the top part of it, of everything. And therefore it could still come and grow back and there's no problems. So how do you know the behemet that that's going to be mazik, or that's going to be a problem? So answers the Gemara, dunya de regel. It's compared to regel. Why? Mar regel, just like regel is a mazik, lo shnan, there's no difference whether mechal yakarna, lo shen mechal yakarna, whether it behemet destroys everything or it doesn't. Av shen, so too, lo shna mechal yakarna, lo shen mechal, it doesn't matter whether you destroy it or not. Meaning, I would have thought to say that eating is only if you finish it off. Kamashmalan, eating part of it is also a destruction. Right? That's just the way that is.
Just put his tongue on the fruit. Just to...
It's a mazik. But at the end of the day, it's not mechal yakarna. Exactly. He did not destroy anything. Right? But it's a mazik. Because now if I cannot eat part of it or whatever the case is, so that's called a mazik. Okay, but that's the difference. Meaning we're learning shen to regel. Just like regel, there's no difference whether he finishes it off or not. So to be shen, there's no difference whether he finishes it off or not. Okay? Clear? Yeah? Ubier. Amar more comes and he says, Ubier. What is Ubier? Zu Hashem. V'chen Umer, it says in the pasuk, Kasher Yivai Gerula L'Tumo. That's where we finished off yesterday's daf, and that's what we're studying now. So when it says the pasuk, Ubier bistei acher, that the animal came and was mevaer bisadei acher in another person's field, what does mevaer means? That he's coming, he's destroying it. How's he destroying it? Eating it. He's using his teeth. So he comes and he says, Tama de Ketav Rachmana. The reason why is because the pasuk says Kasher Yivai Gerula L'Tumo. Halav hachi, but if not, what would I have said? He says, I keren ketiv, vi regel ketiv. Meaning we're going back and we're using the same principle about back how to do it. Meaning like this. I already know there's three parts of an ox that could damage. He could either damage with his horns, he could damage with his teeth, which is eating, or he could damage with his foot. And again, then there's going to be the toladot, whatever, but those are the three major categories. We already learned each one from the pasuk, but says now the Gemara the other way around. Before, I wanted to say v'shilach means regel. Why? It says, if it wouldn't have been written, what would you have thought? If it's keren, it's already written. If it's shen, it's already written. So obviously it's regel. So no, I would have thought it's everything on shen. And one is destroying everything, not destroying everything. Says the Gemara, okay, fine, that's why I needed it. Okay, chazak u'baruch. Now the Gemara is going to go to shen. And the Gemara says by shen, 1 second. How do I know that shen is ubier? Because there's the pasuk. Now, if I have this pasuk, what if I didn't have the pasuk? And I have the word ubier. So what is ubier? If you're going to tell me it's keren, it's already written keren. If you're going to tell me regel, it's already written regel. So obviously shen. So says the Gemara, itzrich, I need it. This is why. I would have thought to say regel, that ubier is regel and v'shilach is regel. It says why? But by the way, you should know, it says in the pasuk, Ki aver ish sadeh o cherem, v'shilach beiro, ubier bistei acher. So it's in the same pasuk, right? In Mishpatim, which is telling you, v'shilach beiro, ubier bistei acher. So v'shilach meant that the animal is going, right? His animal is going and he's going to destroy, but with his leg. It's v'shilach. Well, beiro literally.
Okay.
Rashi there in the pasuk says that Yaver, Beiro, and Uvier is Lashon Behema. It's an animal. So says the Gemara. Yeah? He says like this. Sal Kadai Tamina, I would have thought to say Idi Vidi Regel, that they're both talking about Regel. The Shilach Ubier, they're both talking about the Regel. Had de Azil Mimila, the Had de Shalucha Shaluche. Right? Which means like this. By shen, we wanted to make a differentiation by two different shens. One that you finish off the job, and one that you don't finish off the job. You completely destroy it or you don't completely destroy it. By regel, I could have also done two differentiations. One, it goes on its own. And the other one, you sent it. So he comes and he says, Kamash Malan comes teach you, right, through the other pasuk, ubier, that it's talking about niske shen and not niske regel. You understand? That means we're talking about the nezek of shen, but not of the nezek of regel. Okay? So says the Gemara, shen. So now that you just told me now that it's on shen, regel de'aza mimela minalan. So 1 second. But you were correct. So now how do you know that if it goes on its own, that you're going to be chayav? Meaning I would have thought to say, listen, you're only going to be chayav when you sent it there. But if it went on its own, how do you know you're going to be chayav? So it says the Gemara, dunya de shen. It's like the shen. Just like shen, there's no difference. Lo shna, shaluche, shaluche. Lo shna dazel mimela. Doesn't matter whether it goes on its own. So to regel, there's no difference whether shaluch, shaluche, or that it went mimela. Now that I know, sorry, thank you. Now that I know that the word ubier is talking about shen, regel de azla mimela minal, and how do we know that regel that goes on its own you're going to be chayav? So the Gemara says dunya de shen, just like shen, there's no difference whether it was sent on its own, right, or not. So to regel, af regel loshna shalcha shaluche loshna azab mila. There's no difference as well. So says the Gemara, fine. V'lichtov rachmana v'shilach. Just write the Torah v'shilach biro. Why do you need the words ubier bisteacher? V'shilach biro bisteacher. Why did the Torah say ubier? And therefore, temashma regel umashma shen. When you say right v'shilach, maybe v'shilach means everything. V'shilach could mean regel, and it could mean shen. So why do I need v'shilach and then ubier? Why do I need both? Just tell me one, and I learned both of them. So 1 second. So it says the Gemara, mashma regel tichtiv v'mishalcher regel l'ashor b'chamon, mashma shen dichtiv v'shen behemot ashalach bam. Okay. So it's mashma regel from mishalcher regel l'ashor b'chamon, which is going to be again Yeshayah lamed bet, and then it's mashma going to be shen, but it's really v'shen behemot ashalach bam. Answers the Gemara, ilav kra yetera. If it wasn't for the fact of the extra pasuk. Havamina, I would have thought to say oha, or. Why? Or regel de zeko matzui, right? Or shen yesh hanaa la ziko, and not regel, and that's why it's written uvier, which means like this: each one, whether it's going to be the shilach or whether it's going to be, which means whether it's going to be regel or shen, there's a pro and there's a cons. The pros, or if I'm going to come and say about regel is common. Regel is common. Animals walk and they kick. So, right, while they're walking, or not nafka kicking, but remember, kicking was a tolada, which was a subcategory of the beita. Not mamash kicking, but when they're walking, they're going to destroy things that are in their path. And they don't even realize what they're doing. You just walk right over it and they'll just destroy it. You understand? But, right, shen is not that common, but, right, shen has hana'ah when he's doing it. Regel doesn't. You understand what I mean? Meaning, shen, he benefits. He's eating. He's enjoying himself. But he's walking. He's not enjoying himself. It just hurt him. He just trampled upon a thing. It hurt. There's no hana'ah, but one is more matsui than the other. So therefore, since I have a pro on each one, I would have only applied it to that one. Okay? So says the Gemara, Michti, let me see though. Shishkulinen, but each one of them have a tzad chamur. V'yavu shnehem. Right? So both of them are going to come. Tehamino mipakt. Which one are you going to take out? So you could say both of them. So says the Gemara, Itzich, you still need both of them. You know why? Sal kadaita chamina, I would have thought to say hanamile hechi de shalach shaluche. I would have thought only if you send the animal. Aval azla mimeila lo. But if it goes on its own, no. Kamash Malan comes teach you uvier that if it's going on its own, and you're still going to be chayav. Because the word v'shilach is mashma that you sent him to do the damage. I would have thought to say, you know what, Rabbi, you're only chayav if you send him to do the damage. Obviously, he goes on his own. I would have thought to say, Bemet, you're going to be patur. But it says, v'shilach, comes teach you bier, which means even without that. The guy went on his own. You're still going to be chayav. Okay? Fine. Says the Gemara. Tolada deshen mai ki. What is the tolada of shen? Yeah, what's the tolada of shen? So he says, nitchakeka bekotel lanata, vetinfa perot lanata. You know, right? You sometimes you see this, right? You see this even by human beings sometimes. They always like to get massages, right? Or they like that you're going to come, you're going to start scratching their backs, right? That's what they like. So what happens? An animal, he wants to scratch his back. Now they don't have
Against the tree.
right, yeah, or against the wall. Right? That's what we're saying here. So 1 second, right? So what happens nowadays? No. But listen carefully. Nowadays they invented this long thing, like a long stick, and you put it like this, and you come and I actually thought of buying it for somebody in the Beit Knesset. Right? You come, you put it like this, right, and you scratch the back, perfect, right? Okay, fine. Now what happens is, right, you have nitchakeka bakotel lanata or tinfa perot lanata. Now somebody just asked, what's the connection between the shenayim? What was the last word? What was the last word?
She sold fruits for all because
Lanata. Lanaa. We just said, what's the difference between shen and regel? Shen, you have you benefit, you enjoy. So you're right. I'm not scratching my back with my teeth, obviously, unless you take out your dentures and you're going to start putting them on your back, right? It doesn't work. But the concept is the hanaa, meaning anything which applies to the same concept. You're doing it for a pleasure. That's called shen. It doesn't have to be a teeth, but it's for pleasure. It's hanaa. So here, the animal goes, puts his back against the wall and starts doing like this, and he damages the wall. That's called shen. You're going to say, Rabbi, where did he use his teeth? Use his back. And the answer is hanata. That's the answer. Second one was tinfa perot. He dirtied the fruit. But why? Hanata. What does that mean? Here it says, for example, it started rolling around. He started having like a mud bath. So he starts rolling around in the fruit. So now he didn't eat the fruit, right? But he was rolling around the fruit and he damaged the fruit. There also, since he was doing it like a game, he's doing it, this is his park. So therefore it's going to be, right, the hanata, and therefore it's going to be a tolada. So says the Gemara, why am I comparing it to shen? He says, just like shen, right, it's got hana'ah to damage, it's your money, and you have to watch it. So to hear these toladot, the same thing. It's you, he's got hana'ah, it's your money, and you have to watch it. So says the Gemara, Ela tolada de shen keshen. The tolada of shen is like shen, right? V'chi ka'amar Rav Papa. So when did Rav Papa come and say this? A tolada de regel. If you guys remember, I'm going to zoom out so you guys remember what we were talking about. We asked on the first daf, we asked, are the toladot of the nezikin like the avot or not? At the beginning, nobody understood what we were talking about. What do you mean toladot are like the avot? What does that mean? So we brought down Hilchot Shabbat, and we said Shabbat, the toladot are like the avot. And then we brought down like Tum'ah, and we said that the toladot are not like the avot. And therefore we asked, what about nezikin? So the Gemara answered Rav Papa. What did he answer? No. If I always ask you a question and you're going to give me one answer, you're usually probably 80% correct always. What's that?
No, you have a 50% chance to be right on it.
No, if you answer one word, you're usually always... Usually, if you answer machloket, you're always usually 80% right. Rav Papa said, yesh veyesh.
So he isn't.
No, it's not really machloket, but it's something similar, meaning that there are sometimes yes, sometimes no. Okay, yesh v'yesh. Usually, by the way, yesh v'yesh is a machloket in the halacha. When I come and say yesh omnim v'yesh omnim, it's like there's a machloket. That's why I said when you come, if I'm going to ask you usually any question, if you answer me machloket, you're probably 80% right because there's probably one person that will probably always argue. And that's just the way that it is, rule of thumb. But okay, fine. Rav Papa says yesh v'yesh. What does it mean yesh v'yesh? Some toladot are like the avot, and some toladot are not like the avot. So we started with keren, and we asked to do with keren, is the tolada like the av? And we answered yes. We brought down the tolada of keren, right? You guys remember we said tolada of keren, what is it? We said negifa, which is pushing, neshicha, biting, revitza, jumping upon it, right? Ubitan, kicking. And then we started saying, is it the same, not the same? And then we went and we said, yes, that it was actually coming to teach you that they are going to be the same. Okay, which means the tolada is like the av. Right now, right now, which one?
You tried to explain this, give an example, like
Yeah, exactly. The av and the toladot are the same, the 6, 6, and 12, 12. Yes. So now the same thing. We just answered that shen. What is a toladav shen? So we just said toladav shen is scratching your back against the wall because it's for hana'ah and anything else for hana'ah. So we give the other example, which was dirtying the fruits for hana'ah. So we said, so obviously the tolada is like the av. So which case is the tolada not like the av? So says the Gemara, now you have to say that it's on regel. So says the Gemara, what is tolada de regel? Tolada de regel mahi hizika begufa derech ilucha bisara derech ilucha בשליף שעליה, בפרומיה שבפיה או בזוג שבצווארה. If right now you have that without kavanah, the animal is walking and it breaks utensils, or with its hair, right? Which means the hair of the animal got stuck to a utensil and it dragged it off. You know, sometimes, especially with girls, right? They have long hair. So what happens? They come and all of a sudden they get caught with the button, with the this. So if right now you have an animal walking and its hair got caught to a utensil and it dragged and it broke it. So that's what we say here. Next one, shlif she'alea. The shlif is the masad, the burden. It's carrying something and it damages, right? It damages something. Or prumbia shebefia, the resin which is in its mouth. You know that they put in the mouth. I don't know how it's called. I don't remember how it's called in English. They put it in the mouth in order that, you know, that the animals, they put it in their mouth and then you're running with it and you purposely do like this and then it stops them because it picks it up and it stops them. I forgot how you say that in English. Right? The harness. It's the harness, right? It's the harness. The prumbia shebefia, right? So we're talking about the harness. Or bezug shebetzavara. It has a bell. A lot of animals, they come and they put on the neck, they put a bell. So in all of these things, if it's going to come and it's going to damage shelo bechavana, right? So therefore, again, we're talking about shelo bechavana lazik, because that's regel, right? Without kavanah to be mazik, but it's common, and therefore they're all considered a tolada av regel. So says the Gemara, Maishna regel. What's the difference of regel? There's a komatsui that it's common, umamuncha, and it's your money, ushmirato alecha. And it's going to be that you have to watch it. Aninami, so to the same thing here. Ela tolada keregel, right? Tolada de regel is also like regel. So then what are we talking about then? Right? So one more time. We just went through keren. We said toladav keren is like keren. Right? We just went through shen. Toladav shen is like shen. We just went through regel. Now we just said the toladav regel is like regel. So now forget about now the shor. Because the toladot of shor are like the shor. The tolada is like the father. Okay? Which actually could happen. By the way, just to show you how this could apply nowadays, it actually once happened, right? That I remember it happened to a friend of ours in Gibraltar. They were driving on the highway, right? They're driving on the highway, and right behind, they're on the car, let's say behind, and all of a sudden in front, the guy was moving or whatever it is, so he had like boxes on top of the car. And basically what happened was one of the boxes flew back, right? And since obviously you're highway, so you're going very quick. So the second that comes up, the next car is coming, boom, smash the entire windshield, right? So obviously they have to go. Now obviously the guy behind, which was the Jew, which was our friend, it wasn't their fault, obviously. It came out of his car. So they went, they fixed it. What was the balagan? The insurance comes and says, I apologize. We're an insurance company on the car, not in your boxes on top of the car. So therefore, we're not going to cover them. You pay it yourself. You understand what happened? Meaning, do you say that a masa, that a burden which is on top of is part of the animal? Or are you going to say, sorry, it's not? Here we just learned that it's part of the animal. Exactly, and that's what you're going to be. That's what you're going to be. That. Yeah. So that's what we just said. So he comes and he says not like this. He comes and he says. So he comes and he says like this. He comes and he says now. He comes and he says now like this. Tolada de bor. Ela tolada de regel is like regel. And when did Rav Papa say that the toladot are not like the avot? A tolada de bor. And a tolada of a bor, of the pins. Tolada de bor maniu. Everyone understood what it is, a bor? You know what a bor is? A pit. A pit is a damage. For example, somebody's walking on the street, and all of a sudden, there's a pit, there's a pothole, right? They could sue, right? They do it all the time. They make a lot of money. They sue, right? Why? Because what are you having a pit in the middle of the thing, right? So they sue you. They sue the city, or they sue the thing, or whatever it is. Why? You have a pothole, right? It's dangerous, right? That's a bor. So he says, Toladah the bor, mind you, what is a Toladah the bor? I would have thought to say, what's a bor? A pit is always 10 tvachim, 80 centimeters. If it's not 10 tvachim, it's not a bor. So I would have thought to say the av is if it's a pit of 10 tvachim. And what's a toladah? If it's a pit, which is less, 9 below. So 9 below maybe be the toladah. And above 9, which is the 10, which that's a full-fledged bor, that's the bor.
Now, why not then
Right?
store 5 below?
Yes, 100%. Huh?
It doesn't make sense. Why is it a Torah? Either it's a bor or it's not a bor. If it's less than 10
No, because at the end of the day, it's a pit.
Really?
The only thing is it really considered a pit or not? Yeah?
No.
So he comes and he says, Lo tishaktive, lo asaraktive. Says the Gemara, in the Torah, it's not written, right? Not 9 and not 10. So you can't tell me that, right? 3a towards the bottom. Mamash right before 3b. Okay? So he says, right, what does that mean? Meaning that at the end of the day, it's not written 10 tefachim in the Torah or 9 tefachim in the Torah. It just says if you have a pit and you didn't cover it and somebody falls in your pit, you are liable. Very simple.
Yeah,
It didn't say how big the pit has to be.
So who defines the 9?
No, well, the Gemara always speaks about this. 10 is already like
No, it
its own
says
domain.
even below.
Right? No. But he's asking where did you ever see the concept of 10? So I just
Oh, no, but
fine.
no.
So says the Gemara, halakasha, it's not a question. Yeah, v'amet
question.
yelo. What does it mean v'amet yelo? Amar Rahmana, the pasuk says that the dead deceased is going to be yours. Kim liu rabbanan, the rabbis evaluated. Asara avda mita, tish'a nezikin avda mita lo avda. Look at this. Do you know the things that only nowadays they could do with science and all these things? The rabbis already evaluated. Meaning like this, the rabbis evaluated that if somebody has a fall, and the fall is 80 centimeters, which that's 10 tefachim, chas v'shalom, that could be lethal. It could cause death. Not always, but it says it could. It could cause death. He says the second that it's going to be less than 10, it does not cause death. It causes damages, but not death. Now again, there's always exception to the rule because obviously that what happens, I don't know what, or if there was something dangerous there, but the rule of thumb is that if somebody falls, right? For example, I'm going to tell you right now, somebody, chas v'shalom, they went on this table, right? So this table is actually 80 centimeters, right? Or around that. So this is, but let's say he's on the chair and he falls, right? It happened to Rabbi Yosef, if you remember, he said the famous story, right? He went on top of the sapa, he went on top of the couch, and he got a book and he started learning. And he got so engrossed in his learning, he forgot that he was on the couch. So he's learning. After 20 minutes or a half an hour, whatever it is, and he's there like this, he completely forgot. He just started walking in thin air. So what happened? He fell and he broke his leg, whatever it was, right? This is Rabbi Yosef. So now what happens? It's not going to cause death. Why? It wasn't high up. It could cause damages. So the rabbis evaluated and they said, when we come and we say that's 10 tefachim, because we know that if it's 10 tefachim, chas v'shalom, it could cause death. It could cause death. Less than that? No. It could cause nezikin, but not death. So says the Gemara, fine. Sof, ze av lemita, ze av lenezikin. So fine, tell me that this is an av for death, and this is an av for nezikin. Ela berather, avno sakino masao, shinicham b'shut arbim v'ziko. What is the pit? You know what the pit is? Imagine right now I go outside, and I put outside a box, and people are coming out of the liquor store, and especially nowadays, how people are, right? They're looking here, right? So they're not even looking where they're going, right? And then what happened is that when they're looking, right, down there, what happens is, whoops, he trips, right? So now, technically speaking, you can tell the guy, listen, what did you put a box in the middle of the street? Like, what are you doing? You understand? So here he comes and he says the same thing. An even, a stone, sakin, a knife, masao, your burden, right? You placed it in the Rishut Rabim, and somebody trips over it, you cause a stumbling block. That's like a toladah bor. Meaning bor is a pit, a physical pit. And then we didn't get into even the heights and not the heights, right? No, ze lo kashur, right? Ze lo kashur. What does that mean? That's called a pit. Why? You put your your thing on the, that's a pit, right? If I'm going to come and I'm going to put my scooter downstairs at the entrance, and all of a sudden people have to run out. That's called, you put a pit in the Rishut Rabim. That's your pit. Right? Fine. Okay. No, I'm giving you. You're right, but I'm in the shiur. I'm just talking about what is considered a pit. Okay, what is considered a pit? Then what's the case exactly of your sakin, right? Of your knife, of your burden, or all these things that you put in the Rishut Rabim and damage. If you're going to tell me now that they made it hefker, so whether according to Rav or according to Shmuel, it's a pit, and therefore since it's a pit, it's going to be the same thing. Now, if you're going to tell me, give me 3b, if you're going to tell me now that we're talking about a case where the Baalim did not make it hefker, meaning they didn't make it ownerless, if it's going to be talking about Shmuel Damar that he says, we learned all of these takalot in the Rishut Rabim, all of these things that you stumble upon in the Rishut Rabim from bor, hainu bor, that is a bor. And if it's going to be according to Rav that he says kulam, that you learn it from shor, that it's your property, hainu shor, which means like this. I come and I put a burden, or I put, let's say, a box of my property in the Rishut Rabim. Somebody stumbles upon it. Is that considered my pit? Because obviously it's like a pit that somebody stumbled, or is that considered my shore, my ox? Why? Because my ox is my property, right? That comes and it's not the board. So which one is it? So says the Gemara, what's the difference between the board that the beginning is like a done, meaning when you start digging a pit, that's already room for damage. Why do you think whenever you have all these property, all the sites and everything, they're doing construction, what are you danger? Why? Because you already know the second you have a hole, people fall. Right? That's what the concept is. So he comes and he says, the beginning is the need for nezek. It's your money, you have to watch over it. So the beginning is going to be done for nezek. It's your money, and you have to watch it. But rather, tolada de bor is like a bor. So another one, again, the tolada is like the av, which means the subcategory is like going to be the father category. So that means the tolada is compared to the av. 1 minute, yeah, 1 second. So he says now, and he says, Ela tolda de bor kebor. of papa tolda de maveh. Remember, we had 4 avot nezikin, 4 different categories of damages. We had the shore, the ox, the bor, the pit, maveh, which we still didn't say what it's going to be, and then the fire. So says the Gemara, what is exactly the tolda of maveh? Ili Shmuel damar maveh ze shen. There's one opinion that says maveh is shen. How kimna tolada de shen keshen? We already said the tolada of the teeth is like the teeth. We said, what is the tolada of teeth? Scratching your back on the wall. Because why? Even though he's not using his teeth animal, but he has he has benefit from it. He's enjoying, he's having a pleasure. He's having a massage with the wall. The Rav, now you're going to tell me now it's Rav, that he says that maveh is a dam, is a human being. What's an av and a tolada of a human being? And now you're going to tell me that the av is when he's awake, and a tolada is when he's sleeping. That's none. We just learned in the Mishnah, Adam mu'ad le'olam ben ben Hashem. Some people are sleeping, and they think that what? That's an excuse. But it's not an excuse, because it doesn't matter whether a person is awake or sleeping. If he's sleeping and he damages someone, he's still obligated. Because at the end of the day, Adam mu'ad le'olam. So he says, you know what the answer is then? Ela kicho v'niyo. You know what kicho v'niyo is? His phlegm. His phlegm, his saliva. He comes like that, and all of a sudden he spits, and all of a sudden somebody comes, and whoops, he goes skating. Yeah, he goes skating. Yeah. So he says, "Hey, Idami, what was the case? If he's walking, so that's his strength. If the phlegm landed and now the guy went flying, he says, the board. It's like a pit. You just put your pit in the Rishut Rabbi. You put your pit in the middle of the public domain. But rather, is like maveh. So what are we talking about? Fire. Remember, the last one of the 4 categories is a fire. A person makes a fire. He can't say afterwards, listen, I didn't that fire. The second you made the fire, you have to contain it. If that fire spreads, you're obligated. I wasn't your kavanah to burn down the entire forest. It doesn't matter. But when you're making a fire, once you make the fire, that's your responsibility. Thank you. So he says, what is a tolada de esh, my name? If you're going to tell me you have no sakino masao shenicha kago, you put a knife, your burden, right? Meaning like, a package or whatever it is, or you put it on the top of the roof, and all of a sudden now it fell beruach mitsuya with a common wind. Right? Vizikor makes hezek. Hechidami. What's the case? If it's traveling and that's when it does the damage, it's like an ish. It's like a fire. Maishna ish. What's the difference between the fire, where it says over here the koach acher meurabba? Remember, a fire cannot go anywhere with a wind. The wind has to take the fire to a certain place. If the wind does not take the fire to a certain place, there's nothing there. The wind is an aspect with the fire. If there's no wind, right, what happens? There's nothing there. Right? It won't travel. You need it to travel. The way to travel is with wind. It's your money. You have to watch over it. So do the same thing. With whether it's going to be your stone, your sakin, your masa. It's something else, right? It's your money. You have to watch over it. But rather, he says, so when is Rav Papa talking about? Regel. So what are you talking about regel? Regel, you just told me that Toladav regel is like regel. Answers the Gemara, Chatzi nezek titzrorot, teilchat hagmir aleh. Chatzi nezek of tzrorot. Do you know that when an animal comes and walks, right? Many times this happens with big trucks. They're driving, and all of a sudden you're driving behind them, and all of a sudden you see little tiny stones hit your windshield. So that's called the chetzi nezek of tzrorot. What are tzrorot? Little tiny stones that when the animal's walking, all of a sudden, whoops, and it picks up with its feet and it shoots behind it different thing. He didn't bechavana come and start kicking, or he didn't do, but that's obviously what's happening on. Now what that it's going to be chetzi nezek. So this is not like the regular cases of regel. So therefore, when Rav Papa comes and he says that the Tolada is not like the Av, we're referring to this case. So says the Gemara, fine. Why bemet then is tzrorot, these stones called chetzi nezek Av? Why is it called the Tolada regel? Answers the Gemara, it's only called the Tolada regel l'shalem min aliyah. When you damage, you have to pay from the best of your property. Remember, nowadays, usually people, when they pay for a damage, you pay effectivo, you pay money, liquid. So in the olden days, there was not a lot of liquidity. So what do you used to pay? With property. So now you could pay with the property, which is going to be the Ziborit, which is going to be in Opaloka. You could pay with Benoni, which is going to be in Biscayne Point. And you could pay with Idit, with the creme de la creme, that is going to be in Surfside, right? And Bal Harbor, right? That's the la creme de la creme, the best, the second, and you continue going. So he comes and he says, "Vehami by Rava." The by Rava once said, "This was a question though. Chetzi nezek tzrurot migufo meshalem o min aliyah meshalem." They asked that. They asked, when you have chetzi nezek tzrurot, do you pay from its body or do you pay from the aliyah? So the Rava mi by Rav Papa Pshitale, he says, Rava had this question. Rav Papa, it was obvious for him. Rava had the question, why is it called Hulada de Regel lepotra ki Reshut Rabim? Because you're going to be patur in the Reshut Rabim. Meaning, if right now you put something in the Reshut Rabim, right? You come on the street and you put down a bag, and that bag had a very expensive diamond, jewelry, whatever you want. And the car comes and whoops and drives over it. Is he going to be obligated? No. Why?
The question is there.
You put it in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
You put it in the public domain, and it's walking. That's where I'm supposed to walk. Where am I going to walk? I'm going to walk on the thing. You understand? Meaning, okay, I said the road, but I'm saying, meaning you're going to be exempt. Regel is going to be exempt in the Reshut Rabim. Okay, so because of that, it's going to be exempt. Right, we're almost done. I'm right. We're talking about in the Mishnah that we talk about the two last cases. We're talking about mav'eh, which whatever that is, and hever, which is the fire. What is mav'eh? Rav says mav'eh is a human being, meaning the human being is mazik. He's one of the categories of damagers. Shmuel says mav'eh is a shen, is a teeth. So says the Gemara. Rav says mav'eh is adam dichtiv amar shomer ataboker vegam laila. Right, right. Amar shomer ataboker vegam laila im tivayum be'ayu. What does it mean be'ayu? Be'ayu means to ask for something. So it comes out that the word mav'eh, it's like a mevakesh, right? Which is basically for who's mevakesh? A human being. Ushmuel amar, Shmuel comes and he says, mav'eh is shem, dichtiv, ech nechpesu esav niv'u matzpunav. So therefore, how exactly is he's going to look for it? Nivu matzpunav. We're talking about like destroying. So says the Gemara, what does nivu have to do with shen? Shen is the teeth. What does it have to do with it? Well, the aleph. So he says, my mashma. Just like the chipsu by Esav, all of his matmonim, all of his hidden things were revealed, which means niv'u means to reveal something. The teeth is the only thing which it's closed or it's revealed. Closed and revealed. That's the way it is. The Rav says, why does Rav not hold like Shmuel? Rav says it's an Adam, a human being. Why doesn't he hold with Shmuel that it's the teeth? Amalechai, he says, Miktani niv'eh, It doesn't say nive. Nive means something that is revealed, not mave. Mave means you are revealing something else. Nive means it's being revealed. It's the piula, the action is being done to you, not that you're doing the action. Shmuel, why doesn't it say like Rav? Amar lecha, he says miktani boe. It doesn't say boe. Boe means that you're the one that's doing it. It says mave. So michti krai. So he says 1 second. So the pasuk is not like one. The pasuk is not like the other one. Krai lo kemor daiki, lo kemor daiki. So why doesn't Rav then say like Shmuel? So he says Tana shor. I have a Mishnah. The Mishnah says shor, right, which is the ox. Then it says right. Then it says bor, which is a pit. Then it says maveh and hever. Hever is the esh. What is the maveh? If I'm already talking about shor, so the shor, the ox, should include everything of a shor, which means the teeth, right? And that's why I'm going to say that obviously this maveh is not the teeth; it has to be a human being. Shmuel, he says, why doesn't he say that it's shor? Amar Rav Yehuda Tana shor lekarno umaveh lishino. He says no. When it's a shor, the normal way of a shor damaging is with its horns to gore. The teeth is not as normal, so because of that, the teeth has a separate category. It's called maveh. That's what he holds. This is what we say. Right? He says that the keren is not like the shen because the keren, there's no hana. Meaning when an animal gores, he doesn't have benefit. Not like the shen that he does have benefit. When he eats, it has benefit. Right? But the shen is not like the keren because the shen, right? He doesn't have kavanah lazik. He wants to eat. He doesn't have kavanah, I want to damage something. But the keren, when he gores something, he has kavanah to be mazik. And therefore, we're going to continue going from there, Bezat Hashem, on the next time.